Okay, while I'm waiting for my new pressure hull, or partly built pressure hull, to be completed, I've got a few other things to do, got some customer jobs to do, got this axle to do down here. There are some things that I can get on with for the sub as well. Before that, I need to get my trailer sorted out, which is currently in the back garden. And what else? I can actually start working on those outrigger tanks, because I've actually got those in stock. Through hulls I can start getting on with, so there's quite a bit to do. But in the meantime, I thought what I'd do is I'd do a tool review, just what everyone wants to see, and there will be a bit of CAD work later on, of course. But I've decided to go for a magnetic drill to drill holes for the 30mm through holes and other through holes as well. So I did think I could go plasma cutter, then I need air for that. I can go acetylene, it's quite expensive to get that. That's how I did it. I did everything on Jodie B with a flame cutter, but it doesn't give a very accurate cut, and it is quite expensive to rent the bottles. So in the end, I thought it was either plasma cutter or mag drill, and I've gone for the mag drill. So I'm going to do a little tool review of the Guernsey Mini Beast magnetic drill. Right, I'm not going to faff around with this. You see some people do tool reviews, they take absolutely ages getting it out of the box and reading every single word of the instructions. I'm just going to keep this quick and simple. So I did quite a bit of research onto which mag drill to get, and in the end I went for this one simply because it's got a small profile. I know there's the Evolution one, is, you know, the one that everybody raves about, but it's quite a lot taller. This is a short one. Now you can get a smaller version of this, which is a kind of horizontal one, but it's a lot more expensive. This was really quite reasonable. I got it in a sale as well. So there's not really much to it. Get it out of the box, screw the handles in. And that is pretty much it. Ready to go, I think. There was a label on it, I took that off. You get a strap for strapping it on. I did skim read the instructions, which mostly they're bleeding obvious. Don't do anything stupid, although it's pretty obvious if you've got it clamped on the wall, you have to use the strap. I got one cutter which I bought, which is a 31.5mm, and that is to put in the I did have an old one up there. It's to put in the 30mm through holes. Oops. Now these are razor sharp. I actually did this the other day and I took a huge chunk out the end of my finger. So a bit careful. Now, and what I did is I turned the Allen screw and it caught the blade with my finger. That goes in there, and I believe that as the tool comes down, it lets the coolant in. Wow. That's it, ready to go. So I'm going to find something to cut now. Right, so I've got this piece of, it looks like 12, I reckon. Oh, it's 15mm. Okay, this is the very first time I'm using this machine. Plug it in. Now I'm going to put some coolant in. And I bought this mixed with water at a ratio of 20 parts to 1. Great. Good job I read that, actually. I bet you this is just the same stuff as I used for the lathe, to be honest. Looks it. Oh, right, so this is the very first time that I'm using it. So we have to put the magnet on. Let me get my safety glasses. Right, my safety glasses on. Plugged in now. I don't think, no, it won't come on without the magnet. So, and also I did read somewhere that you have to be careful not to have your credit cards or anything nearby. So mine are over there. Magnet is on. And there's no shifting that now. So, let's give it a try. Well, absolutely chewed through that. Didn't see any coolant coming out, mind. But that was amazing. It did say in the instructions that you don't peck at it, you just go down in one solid go, which is what I was doing. Slug was ejected at the end. It's a bit warm. Wow, that was super good. Is any coolant coming out though? How can I make it do that? Just pull it down on something, any old thing. Yeah, is there coolant coming out there? Oh, no, I made a mistake. Didn't switch the coolant thing on. Which is, there's a lever, the side, yeah, okay. My mistake, there's a lever here, forgot about that. There's a lever there to switch the coolant on. So, let's do take two, I might just do it again. Properly. So, magnet off. Let's move along a bit. Good contact, magnet on. Right, I'm going to put the guard down, that's what I'm supposed to do. Coolant on. Let's do another hole. It's just amazing. That's unbelievable how it does that. Can you imagine trying to do that any other way? It would be impossible. Well, not impossible, but very tiresome indeed. So, I mean, not going to... No, I'll tell you what I want to do. I do want to... I'm just going to check the accuracy of these holes. So this is the 30mm hole penetrator, which is what I bought these for, and that's, yeah, okay, so that can fit. Ah, this is, who measured this? This is 31.7, is that some dopey 1/4 inch? Okay, that's not the end of the world, because I can just take a tickle off of this. Or I get a bigger drill. Right. So this measures 30.92, so it is 0.08 undersized, so that is pretty damn good. Just see if I didn't get the right size. So the reason I got this one is because it isn't too tall, so I can fit it into the applications I want to do. What I've got to actually use it for is to chew through 25mm steel, which is actually going to be at a round angle, so I'm going to have to make a little stand of some sort, probably use this, and just put 2 little bricks on it to stabilize it. But magnet on, you know. That was my first impressions, and so far pretty good.
What I did, I had a chat with one of the guys in the club, and he was really helpful, and he came up with a couple of really good ideas. One of which is something I'd completely not thought of, is that these outrigger tanks here, he suggested that they're in the wrong place, and when you think about it, they probably are, because they're going to provide buoyancy. Remember, imagine the sub is on the surface, so there's the surface the surface line is about here somewhere. These will be underwater, so they'll be providing buoyancy, yes, full of air, of course, but they're not going to provide stability, and it's a little bit weird to think about. But if you imagine, if I got out on the surface and put my foot on the side here, it would push down, and there would be no change in buoyancy. This would be exactly the same, hence no effect on stability. So they're really kind of not doing what they're intended. The thing that I need to do is move them up so that they're nearer to the surface line, or on the water line. The stability comes when the float is sort of partially filled with water, and then when you stand on it or you put some weight on it, it pushes into the water and gives then an increase in buoyancy, which gives you the stability. So I need to think about that. So what I wanted to do was remodel everything and just I have calculated the stability and the buoyancy and everything already, but I just wanted to do it again. So that's what I've been doing today. This one I've just been remodeling this to give me to calculate the total mass again. So I've got myself in there, and I've also put in the no, it's that one. I've also put in the batteries. I've put these made out of lead. Myself weighs the correct weight, so everything, this should be giving me a fairly, well, reasonably accurate mass. Then the next thing I do is I calculate how much buoyancy everything's going to provide. This will be on the surface, and so I make this out of one solid model, and this was a little bit difficult to get to this stage. I initially started doing it out of the main model and trying to do it with boundary fills, but it got so complicated that the computer was taking forever to actually compute the boundary fills, so I've had to go back to these really simple models. But unfortunately for today, I've run out of time. So the next step is that I've got to slice this down until it weighs what I think my total mass is, to give me a water line, and then I can think about moving these outrigger tanks up. So that was a really great idea that you thought of. Probably saved me quite a lot of pain. But unfortunately, that'll have to just wait until a little bit later on now. Well, I'll get done for next week.